Greetings and welcome to another edition of Black Talk Radio, where black media matters and black life definitely matters. Today is Friday, September 21st, 2018. Well, as we all know by now, on September 10th of 2018, a victim by the name of Bothem, Shem, was killed by a Dallas police officer by the name of Guyger. After her shift of 10 hours or so, they keep changing the numbers, she went home and supposedly she went to the wrong apartment. Now, I want to focus on Guyger before I even touch on Bothem, the victim, and his family. I want to first focus on Guyger herself. So with that, let's talk about who she is and exactly what she stated from the beginning, and then we'll know at least partial of the truth. Now, we all recall that Guyger claims that she went to the wrong apartment. She claims that she parked on the wrong floor and ended up at the wrong apartment, and while she tried her key wouldn't open the door, and apparently she heard someone inside, and so she started banging on the door. Now, I'm telling the story the way I heard it, not the way it's being reported. I'm telling you the way I heard it, and the way I heard it is that she started banging on the door and screaming, "Let me in, let me in." And when Bothem opened the door, she shot him in cold blood. Now, after that happened, she starts pacing in the hallway, and you can see that on video footage. And then, while off camera, I guess she starts taking off her gear, because in the end we find out that some of the things that were confiscated was a police vest, a backpack with some police paperwork in it, 10.4 grams of marijuana that they made a big deal about, and I think a few other items. So let's talk about those police gear items though. Those were the items that belonged to Guyger. The way the news media, and I have to say it this way, the racist news media reported it, is that it belonged to him. That's what they inferred. They didn't say it directly, but it's definitely what they inferred. But in fact, it belonged to this woman right here, because we later find out that she too, besides being a Dallas police officer, she is also the apartment complex security, in which she had an extra couple sets of RFID keys to get into the apartments. So lo and behold, whether he opened the door for her or whether the door was ajar, it really doesn't matter. She went inside and she shot him. That's all that matters. What they're doing is they're trying to make smoke screens about these little things like, well, the door was ajar, oh, it was locked, and all these different things. It kind of doesn't matter on that. It does matter, but it doesn't negate from the fact that she went in illegally and murdered a man in cold blood. That's the bottom line. Now, what's interesting is that when she was first interviewed about what happened, her story was the truth. She just messed up by telling the truth, because then, after consulting with the Texas Rangers, her story started to change. So, in the beginning, what did she say? She said that she went to the apartment, she tried her key, The key didn't work. She tried it a couple times. It didn't work. So, what really happened? And then later on, she claims the door was ajar. So she starts changing her story. So right away, her innocence is diminished. It is so tainted. It is so tainted. So what does the police chief do? She is a black woman. Let's talk about her for a quick second. Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall. Now, this woman I am really disappointed with, because she had the power to control this situation. She had the power, or at least what she thought. Actually, I take that back. Let me reverse those words. No, she didn't have the power. What she had was a little bit of power, and she found out that she actually doesn't have any power at all, because other people orchestrated this for the Texas Rangers to take the lead in this case. And then lo and behold, they allowed Guyger to post bail. Now her bail set at $300,000. She has to come up with $30,000, and she miraculously came up with that in no time, in record-breaking time, as a matter of fact, which goes to show you the fun that the Blue Lives Matter have. They have a fun where they protect these police officers and get them out of jail, and that's a damn shame. That is a miscarriage of justice if you ever saw it. It is a miscarriage of justice if you ever saw it. But nonetheless, she posted bail in a county where she didn't commit the crime. Talk about white privilege. So let's go back to the Amber Guyger for a second. But this woman right here, Renee Hall, she found out that she has no power. She found out that other people with more power than her shut her down. And I know this is probably not what she wanted, but she has to do what she has to do. So I'm going to lay off of her. We're going to go back to Amber. Amber Guyger, she changes her story several times on what happened. Now, I'm going to go to a whole nother situation. One of the tenants that lives in the apartment complex gave an interview to T. West of AfroSynergy. I watched his video, and this brother who lives in the complex revealed some very important facts. Like, for instance, when she has to drive to the 4th floor, the same floor that Bothem Jean lived on, you come to an open area of the parking lot, the parking garage. In other words, there is no ceiling. You can actually see the sky when you're on the 4th floor. She should have known that and recognized that right away. So what type of drugs was Amber Guyger on? Did they do any blood tests on her when this all happened? Did they take her blood? And if so, when are the results going to be known to Americans? When are we going to know her results? After all, there was a murder. Don't you guys have a procedure? This is a miscarriage of justice to allow this woman to still be a police officer. On September 21st, 2018, when she shot and killed a man on September 10th, she shot him in cold blood by huge errors on her behalf. So, and knowing that, how could you even have her as a police officer? Someone so reckless that they don't know that they're on the top floor where there is no more ceiling, that you could see the sky. You would recognize that immediately. What type of drugs was she on? This is the type of police officer you guys have on the police force in Dallas? That's what you're saying? You haven't fired her yet? So not only that, the person who lives there, this brother who revealed this on, like I said, the video from Afro Synergy, I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. The brother who gave the interview to T West stated that there is numerous markings on the walls, even on the ground, I believe, on the door for sure, before you even get inside of the building, and definitely throughout the building you see numbers. You mean to tell me that she didn't recognize that she was not on her floor? You mean to tell me that she was that so far out of it that you guys let her drive home from a 10-hour shift? Because it started off, I believe, as 10, then it went to 12, and then it went to 14 hours. You guys just changed it. You guys might as well just say that she worked all night. You guys have changed the story so many times. None of it is believable except for her first story. That first story, the first story where she tried her key and it didn't work, we should stick with that. Now, this was a targeted killing in my opinion. There's too many things that have been revealed since then. This looks like it was a targeted killing. Like she just didn't like the fact that there was a black man that lived on the top floor above her. Maybe she didn't like the music that he played. But I find it really interesting that when they did the search of his apartment, which they should not have done, that was so disrespectful. They should have done a search on her apartment and really checked out what she was into. They allowed another one of theirs to get away with murder, and then they wonder why we have criminals on the street, because you're leading by example. So when one wonders how police gear ends up in his apartment and comes up on the inventory sheet, it's because she left it there along with her weed. Let's talk about that weed for a second. This brother worked at Price Waterhouse Cooper. You think that they don't have a policy of not using drugs? You think that they would allow that? Furthermore, did you guys even do any investigations and find out if any of the cannabis clubs have on video footage him purchasing that weed? I'm sure, surely you can find out. It can't be that difficult. It's easy to find out, as a matter of fact. They do have video footage at each one of these places. Surely you can find out if he purchased that weed. Or if Amber Guyger did. I believe it was Amber Guyger's weed. She left the weed and her vest and the backpack with her paperwork in it. The media just didn't reveal that truth for you to know that. I know they did that. I know she did that. She was out in the hallway talking about she's sorry. Yeah, she was sorry because she knows she made a huge mistake. On drugs or something. She was probably drugged out. We should find out though. Again, miscarriage of justice. So back to the weed. We should be able to find out if, in fact, Bothem Jean has weed in his body, in his blood. That should show up in the test. The truth is going to reveal itself. But I believe that Amber Guyger here, she's lying. But Amber, this is what you caused. Amber, you caused the death of Bothem, Shem, Jean. You took a great man away from his family, away from his friends, away from his co-workers, away from a bright future. You took that away from your recklessness, and you think you deserve to wear a blue uniform and a badge? Really, Dallas Police Department? Really? Are you gonna really try to smear his character behind marijuana when white men and women across America are reaping the benefits of selling it to people freely on the streets without going to jail? You mean to tell me that you guys are going to try to legalize it across America in most states, and then you're going to try to criminalize this man, this great man who didn't do anything wrong? You mean to tell me that you're going to try to do that? White media, let me tell you how slimy you are for doing that, though. You are like the bottom of the barrel media. That's why most people try not to even pay any attention to you anymore, because you're so slimy on what you do, especially when it comes to the black people of the earth. These things are going to come back and haunt you. It's evil and it's wrongdoing. It's a miscarriage of justice, and you know it. These things are going to eat at your conscience. You will not be able to live freely and comfortably knowing that you guys have done this. And you try to get away with murder. Murder of black people. This is unacceptable on so many levels. So, not only does the parking garage story that she told, not only does that not make sense when you come up to the 4th floor and it's an open floor to where you can see the sky, one would know that. And if you didn't know that, and if you couldn't recognize that, you shouldn't be wearing a badge. You shouldn't be wearing a police uniform. If you can't tell what floor you're on by all the numbers before you even get to your apartment, and by the way, when your apartment does not have a red carpet in front of it that you could clearly see, if you miss that, you shouldn't be a police officer. You shouldn't be a police officer. So Amber Guyger, what you did was you brought out a lot of people in support of Bothem, Shem, John. You brought out a lot of people in support of that young man because he was a great young man, and there's a lot of people who's going to attest to that. Meanwhile, the first few days you thought you were going to be slick and scrub your social media. People found out your racist tendencies, your family members throwing up white power signs, you know, the hand signs. Oh, people got pictures of that. People got pictures of your mother wearing the All Lives Matter, and what a hypocrisy. What a hypocrisy. You tell your mother she should burn that shirt. What a hypocrisy. So, the hypocrisy in your mother wearing that All Lives Matter shirt, and the hypocrisy of you wearing a badge and a uniform. This is what you caused. I hope and pray that his mother gets the justice that she deserves, because you took a future away from her family. You took her son away from her. You took a human being away from her. Amber Guyger, may your soul rest in hell, because that's the only place that I see fit for anyone like you. This is Guru, and I hate to do this video in this way, but this story is a miscarriage of justice if this woman gets off. It's already an insult that she's still a police officer. Black Talk Radio.